This is Jason.
This is Kailani.
And you're here for the Word for the Night podcast, episode 26, back with a Labor Day special podcast. Although we'll probably hear this sometime after Labor Day, but we haven't seen or heard from our audience, or talked to our audience, I should say, since about Memorial Day weekend. So we're doing a late summer check-in, just checking in on you.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a statement. You're back to your wiles there. If you hadn't seen, we did drop a YouTube video where we discussed some films in the summertime. We did that, so there was a little bit of a check-in.
Yeah, I found that to be fun. You didn't like it so much.
I did like it. We just happened to relocate. We're actually recording this in our new surroundings. We have now been relegated to our garage, so we've lost our studio momentarily.
Yes.
And we are now sitting on a workout bench in muscle shirts in 95-degree weather at midnight recording this.
That's because we are loyal. You're welcome, fans.
You are for sure. Yeah, exactly. We do this for the fans, if nothing else.
Just kidding. We
have some stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
Things we're going to talk about on today's show. Name That Movie, which is, of course, a fan favorite. We get a lot of requests for that. What we've seen, of course, and our continual struggle to get back to the movie theater. We have planned this over and over, and we have not seen anything in the theater.
No, but it's because everything that's out, it's kind of optional.
I gave you 3 choices today of things I would see.
Right, but you would see anything, let's be real.
That's not true. I haven't been to the theater.
And honestly, the way you pitch these movies, you don't really sound like you want to see them. I think you just want to go to the movie theaters. However, it doesn't sound fun to sit there with a mask on for 2.5 hours of a movie that we particularly really don't want to see. But we'll see it because it's the only option we have.
I agree. But I gave you the Marvel movie. I gave you Candyman or Free Guy.
I don't even know what the Marvel movie is. And Candyman I was semi-interested in just because you said Jordan Peele was the one that wrote it or whatever.
He's involved.
Okay. Which I think he is really good at what he does. But then at the end, you were like, yeah, I heard there's not that many good reviews on it. And I'm like, then I'm not going to go see it.
I will say...
I don't like horror movies. You know this. I don't like them.
But you say you don't like certain things and you do like certain things. And it's hard to tell because you say you like comedies. You purport yourself to be a fan of comedies. But I've known you almost a decade now. And I think you've liked very few comedies. In fact... You say that you're a big Adam Sandler fan, yet you want to watch no Adam Sandler movies ever.
Because I've seen them all repeatedly. I don't need to continue to watch them.
You disparage Jim Carrey's films constantly.
Again, something that we rent from Hollywood Video Store or Blockbuster when we were kids. Like, why would we just sit back and watch that for enjoyment now?
And you say that you love Robin Williams.
I do. I just love him. He's a good soul. Miss that soul on this planet.
And how many movies do we get to rewatch comedies of Robin Williams? I watch any of them. And I
don't really,
You don't find them funny?
I love Birdcage. I love Mrs. Doubtfire.
We never get to rewatch either of those.
I mean, it's not an option typically. I didn't know you were.
I actually don't like Birdcage.
What's that one movie?
But Doubtfire is
more
great.
Serious, The Poetic Lifestyle.
That's not a comedy. The Poetic Lifestyle. This leads us perfect. It's called Dead Poets Society.
I didn't say comedy. You said Robin Williams. I'm picking him just as his movies that I enjoy.
I'm going to give you a pass, but it's only a pass on a technicality that you didn't even know about, so I'm being fucking kind here. I'm being kind here. He did win an Oscar for dramatic role, so I'll give you the fact he's a dramatic actor as well, but let's not act like he wasn't known for comedies, first and foremost.
I'm not disagreeing with you, but I'm just saying, you were asking me what movies that I liked, and I'm just naming off those movies.
What comedian are we allowed to watch?
We can watch any of them, but let's just hold off a little
There's
bit.
only one that you...
And you act like we haven't watched anything Jim Carrey. We watched Yes Man. We watched...
that wasn't me. We watched Liar Liar about 8 years ago.
Liar Liar, and what's the one that he's in Smallville? What is it called? Trusting?
Come on, keep going.
What is it called?
He's in Smallville.
Pixie Playland?
I think you mean Pleasantville.
Pleasantville.
No, that's not the name, but I think you just said like you just agreed.
What is it called? He's stuck in a TV show?
Yeah, I know.
What is that?
You're almost
Truman.
there. Yeah.
Got it.
Almost, but there's a couple words you're leaving out.
Truman, true story. Truman's story. Welcome to Truman's world.
I wish we had video going because the facial expression you made when you said that was like, I got it.
I got Truman.
You're right.
Everybody will give me the point.
It's the Truman Show. It's the Truman Show.
Truman Show.
Yeah. So that's great. Thank you for segueing perfectly into our next segment, which is Name That Movie. Okay. And the answer to the last question, though, is what comedians do we get to watch? There's one. You like Kevin Hart. We're allowed to watch Kevin Hart movies.
Oh, yeah.
But I think that's just because he's associated with Jumanji, which you have the strangest affinity for.
No, I like Kevin Hart movies. And, like, you know I'm not the hugest fan like you are with that one dude. But I love that show.
Who the fuck is that one dude?
I mean,
I'm curious
I like
now.
him, but not as much as you do.
Who? Eddie Murphy?
No.
Name that actor now.
I am.
You just, I
He was
know.
on Saturday Night Live. Come on. The movie is when, like, Kevin Hart was
What the fuck? Are you renaming Eddie Murphy? He was on Saturday Night Live.
Kevin Hart was like a car wash dude and then decided to train this rich dude on how to be in jail.
Oh, Will Ferrell? Yeah, you love Will Ferrell more than I do.
No, I just love that movie.
No, you love the other guys. You think I think you're the only person in the world that thinks every line and every scene of the other guys is funny.
That movie is like a really good feel-good movie.
The other guys?
Yes.
Do you have a bizarre... Like I said, you have bizarre tastes. You're unpredictable. It's hard to decide what movie we're going to watch for the evening.
That's what keeps it spicy.
There you go. Now you're in a fucking comedy. All right, gather yourself. I want to talk to you about a movie. I want you to name this movie, and it's going to segue into our first conversation about a film. One, what movie did we watch recently? It's a 1992 comedy drama. It's got Dustin. You are looking at me so intently like you're studying for a test. I love it. This is fucking hilarious. We might have to do all of our podcasts sitting on this bench. We're like seesawed on this weight bench. Knees touching here, talking. All right, so it stars Dustin Hoffman, Gina Davis, and Andy Garcia.
The Other Side. The Heist.
Do you want to reconsider both those? Do you think that you're wrong because I don't answer right away, or because you know it's not right? I know
it's not right, but I can't. It's like at that moment where it's at the tip of my tongue. So then I have to play this riddle with myself.
Yeah. So let's work it out here. Dustin Hoffman rescues her from a plane crash.
The fire. I thought that movie was so wonderful.
You really did. We'll get into that after. I know.
I was so surprised. I feel like I have to watch it again. Not anytime soon, but within 2 years.
That's your fucking... That's your statute of limitation? Excuse me. This is what I'll say. It's called Hero.
Oh, okay.
So you were not even close on any... by any stretch of the imagination. But,
no.
You know...
Yeah, but I said had the heist. I would have gotten there with an H.
So you asked me when the movie was done what I thought. And I told you, well, this movie was like a notorious bomb, but I never got around to seeing it when I was a kid. I was kind of interested in it because all the talent involved. And I gave you my synopsis or my review of what I thought, which was fairly negative. And you said I was absolutely wrong. And then you said, now, what do your guys think? Which, you know, I know when you can't remember the name, it means Siskel and Ebert. So I just Googled it and I showed you. And coincidentally, they said almost verbatim what I told you was my...
I was so
and then
disappointed about that.
Yeah, you proceeded to tell me how we were all wrong.
Yes.
And, you know, they have no validity anymore. And
no, I do. I used to watch them all the time when I would stay home from school. Probably not as much as you, but I did. I actually really enjoyed that show. I thought for sure one of them was going to get it. And the one that I thought was, I forgot his name.
Well, the taller one. They both gave it a negative review.
I know.
But what's strange about that is that show used to come on like Sunday at 5:30. So why were you staying home from school to watch it?
No, because they would show it on a different channel during the day while you're at school, like on a Friday or a Thursday in the morning.
I didn't know because I was at school.
Yeah, I didn't have to. When I didn't.
I caught the 5:30 episode before 60 minutes.
Yeah,
that was the 30 minutes repeats. I got it. Yeah, you probably knew before I did these reviews. That sucks. But you actually liked this movie, and you just stated you want to watch it again, which I have no interest in ever watching this movie. If I can't get you to watch a fucking classic Jim Carrey comedy, you want me to watch Hero again?
I thought it was a great movie. I thought it was very well put together. I thought it was fun, and it was really feel good, and I thought there should have been a sequel.
I couldn't believe when it was over you said, is there a sequel?
Yeah.
Like, genuinely. Like, you were ready for the next adventures of this this character, this Dustin Hoffman character. That movie was so mismanaged from the jump in terms of the production that Hoffman shut down production because he felt he didn't have a grasp on the character.
Yeah, that's probably because they didn't tell him exactly how they wanted him to be.
He was too Rain Man.
But that's what I loved.
So you like that it was a quasi sequel to Rain Man?
A little bit.
That's really what I think just happened.
And
there.
it was kind of like Curb Your Enthusiasm. I think I told you that.
Yeah, because he was such a prick.
Yeah.
Okay.
But all these bad things kept happening to him, too.
I'll give you that.
For no reason.
We have been...
All he wanted was his fucking shoes, man.
That's true. And I did like that he didn't want the spotlight in the
Yeah.
end. There was some nice twists, but 90s movies have this weird thing where a lot of them end up with like the guy on the ledge and the other guy talks him down. That happens in a lot of movies, and it's just clearly a studio backlot. And in this movie, it gets really dumb and it goes on for way too long. But the fact that you liked it... I just find it
hilarious that you found that movie too long, when I think that at least 10 minutes into most movies you make me watch. Like, okay, how much longer do we have?
Well, I did make you watch a gangster movie recently. In fact, it's a gangster movie that runs roughly 4 hours. Sergio Leone, 1984 film with Robert De Niro and James Woods. It's currently streaming on Netflix. Can I stop you right there? Yeah.
Yes, he said 1984.
Yes.
Continue.
It's a classic. Yes, I said a classic. And I want you to at least give me the name of that movie because...
Once Upon a Time.
You're close. You are so much closer than you think you are. Is this because I've left the DVD cover out and you've walked by reading it?
No, it's because I was kind of disappointed because I'm a big Robert De Niro fan.
Yeah.
And
once again, you say that, and I try to get you to watch one of his movies, and you're like, eh.
Well, this one, I was, okay, I could do it. And then when I did it, I was like, oh, I just wish we didn't.
It's called Once Upon a Time in America.
Okay. It's too play for me.
I
feel like I'm watching a play. Like I should be in an audience with a little packet in my hand, seeing what section we're going to see again or next, and when's intermission so I can go to the bathroom and get some water, you know?
I love gangster movies, and you hate anything, period. If it's not set in the modern era, you ain't fucking with it.
That's not true. I love the era of 50s and 60s.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'd watch those type of movies. And this one, okay, I'm telling you, it's just too theatrical. It was too theatrical for me. And why are we playing music for 2-3 minutes each move?
Because we have 4 hours to kill.
Exactly, we don't need that. We can cut off at least an hour and a half of it.
It's a classic, but it's an acquired taste, and I told you that going into it. And to be fair, you made it about an hour before you pretty much gave up on it. And that's longer than most people.
Yeah, but when you say acquired taste, I think... oh, it's probably because it's gruesome and sad and blah, blah, blah. Not because it's like 2 minutes of music every 5 minutes.
The music's beautiful in it. You can't...
but we don't do it for 4 hours of the movie.
What was most amusing about that viewing experience is that we turned that off, and I believe you fell asleep, and I put on Dune, the 1984, once again. Yes, he said 1984. And I was watching that, and you woke up, and the next day you didn't bring up anything. And then out of nowhere, you're like, what was that spaceship thing you were looking at last night? Do you recall that? And I've tried to get you to watch Dune because there's a new version coming out that I think you might be interested in.
It was not pleasant to sleep to because I thought, am I waking up on a different planet? And why are they talking like this?
That movie's creepy as shit. And you did wake up at a very odd time where like, the main villain had pimples popping and pus and all sorts of weird shit was going on. Always wake up at the wrong time in a movie. You do that. You'll wake up, I'll watch something, it's basically PG-13, and then there's one 30-second sex scene. You wake up and you're like, what are you watching? Do you realize that? And I'm like, oh, it's a 90s movie. You like, look, you need a fucking funny look, and I'm like, it's a PG movie, and you woke up in the fuck scene. It's not my fault.
No, I didn't know that.
Oh, it must be in your subconscious then.
Yeah.
I think, I think on that, we're going to go ahead and cut this episode off while I get out of the doghouse. This is Jason.
This is Kailani.
And you're here for the Women for the Night podcast. Thanks for joining us, guys. We'll be back with you soon.